Hello, hello, Rhoda here. Welcome to my craft room. Today we're working on another page in the Faded Memories journal. This is the one where I'm using some of my old family photos, but I'll tell you the story of the people, but in the long run, I'm not going to really add any names or anything. This will just be a journal that can be bought. But I had some really cool photos in the family, and I wanted to show them off. Well, I also was collecting up more things that I wanted to add into this. And like, I can't remember if I've got anybody that writes in the family, but I really love the thing with the old writing fluid. Like, if I have anything to do with a school, which I do, I have the old school over at Stone Coal, where my family went before they came over here to Virginia. So that might be a chance for me to use that. Of course, there's going to be like a tree reference all through here because of it being a family tree and a genealogy sort of journal. So I had this one where I had a couple of leaves here. I don't know how they'll turn out looking. It may be I cut around them so all the lines are not on there. This was called something that he did at one point. Sketch or something. I can't remember what it was called. I'm not sure why I picked this one out, just because it was grungy, maybe. I've got that great big old grungy patch right there, maybe I'm thinking of using. Also, this is like a little die that I have. It's like an outside cutter. And then you've got all the little leaves here. So I thought a reference to some leaves and bushes. Now, this is where I was mentioning something about in the background on some of these with the trees that I could do some script. And I really love this one. I've always loved that one. It's really different. And then that one's kind of a cool one too. This one you can actually read. The other ones you can't. I got this a long time ago at Hobby Lobby. And it had like these lines in it. And it's got like other little leaf patterns here. But it's got a great big overall background of leaves. I mean, that's a big old patch of leaves. So I'm thinking, you know, heat embossing or something. Or maybe even have it as like a background. And I put like a little photo in the middle of it. I thought that would be kind of cool. Okay. Let me get over here and get to where I was actually going to do my make here. Now this side looks kind of cool. I've actually got some of the paint going up through there like that. But this is the side I'm going to use because I'm going to sort of do a few things in the background. Now, if you saw my last video where it was my haul, I was mentioning what I was going to be using today, which is this major photo here of picture taken D. Markham. Well, yeah, okay, let me give all the reference here, and then I'll start telling you the story. And then he was a picture taker. So I saw these in the Craftly Hall stuff, and I don't know if they call that an aperture, but he used to use one of these old cameras, which is also a Craftly Hall piece. And I thought I would somehow cut that out and put it on here on his page. And then this was also a photo from way back when. They had an original marriage photo, which I may put in here eventually. And they took the black and white photo, and it was taken and I don't know how they did it. They took her image because they were setting apart from each other, and her sister Effie is right in between standing. And I think he was drunk that day, they said, and I guess he was partying because he got married. Anyhow, so they took that image of her, which I think she was on the left maybe, and he was on the right, and they combined them together and they colorized them, which I thought it was kind of cool. They said they sent it to Portsmouth, Ohio, up the tug, and had that done. And I think there were several other ones they did of the family. And anyway, so I think I'm going to take this one and try to see if it'll work in one of these aperture ones. Maybe this one's the best one. So anyhow, that's what that's for. And then, yeah, I have this, what would you call it? I guess it's a slide that I'm going to cut it. Now, see, it's too long this way, which would be perfect because it would fit just, it would work. But it's too wide for the page where it's going to be folded. So I'm going to have to go this way with it. So what I'm going to have to do is the two sides that get cut off here, I'm going to have to put them the top and the bottom so the color is all the same. And I'm trying to make sure how I'm going to do that. I need to actually move this over just a little bit and mark it there. And then, let's see, where is that mark? About right there. Okay. And then I'm going to have to move this one over just a little bit and mark it there. I don't want the holes to be a different color. I want them to stay that dark color. Okay. So I've got that. And I've also got this here, which is one of my favorite crackle stamps. And I got these, the very first things I got for craft card making and stuff, I got these. And you have all these different things you can use in here. There's sayings, there's flowers, you've got like some grungy material. So you had all kinds of stuff to use. Okay, so let's get to it. So I need to go over here and cut this out like this. So this will work on this page. And I want to go ahead and take a little piece of washi. Doesn't matter what it is, just as long as you have some washi. Oh, and I was going to cut it. That's right. I need to cut this first, right where I made those marks. Okay, so I have that trimmed. And we're going to put our top and our bottom on there. I think that's the best arrangement for that. I want to thank you for coming by to visit today. Let's see what's going on. I've been kind of busy lately and not had much of a chance to really just relax and create with all kinds of stuff going on with Mom. Hopefully she doesn't misbehave and she gets better. That's always a tall chore for her. She's chomping at the bit to get out there in her flower garden, but she got to take it easy for 2 weeks at least, and she's not gonna like that. Keep trying to scare her and tell her she's going to hurt herself so much she's not going to get back out of that nursing home. I don't know if she'll listen. Okay, so there's that. Let's see if this is going to cooperate with me. I think it will. Now, I'm going to have to put a little bit of ink on these corners here. Let me just get a little bit of this black and smear that on there and see if that'll work. So I don't want those holes to be white. But, yeah, picture taking day. Okay. So, an interesting fact is my grandmother married a Markham, and 2 of her other sisters married Markhams. It was said that none of them were related to each other, though that's not entirely true. I figured out that all of them go back to Josiah. And he had 8, 10 sons. He had a lot of boys. So there is a lot of Markhams in that area. So I first started doing my genealogy. I wanted to figure out how all of that worked out, because I got told all these stories, and I'm thinking, none of them are related. I can't believe that. Especially when you get to the hollers of West Virginia, everybody's marrying each other right up along the stretch of land there on either side of the road. All right, I'm going to go back over there and die cut this real quick. All right, so let's see if we can pop it right out of here. And it's sort of coming. What's going on? Oh. Well, I'm not quite... Oh, it's cutting out... It's cutting out the outline. I'm trying to think what is going on here. All right, it cut the outline out. You know, I'm not paying attention to anything today. All right, I don't know if this is going to come out crooked or how it's going to come out. Let's see if we can pull all this. There we go. So let's see. So anyhow, back to, so each one of these Markham lines has a different name. Mine is Bullet Head. So I'm from the Bullet Head Markhams. The youngest sister, Janie, she married a Pinhook Markham. And then there was this set, which is the Big Nose Markhams, or Gourd Nose. I don't know, y'all. Now, I know how mine got the name. Gourd Nose, I can only imagine. They must have had a big nose. But ours started from a guy who got shot off his horse in the Civil War. And he was saved by his sisters. They went out to dark and night, got him out of that field he was shot down in, and took him back to the barn, and they helped him survive. So, Bullet Head. And, let's see what I got going here. Like, this is just, I've done something totally wrong. It seems like. Will this fit back in here? I kind of like the idea of it being inside of here. It doesn't really have to be two pieces. It could just be this one piece. The only thing is I've got to fix a few things, like punch out all these holes and fix a few places. Okay, so picture taken D. Had a brother who was a lawyer. He was about the youngest in his set of the family. So he had a brother that was a lawyer, and he thought, well, I want to go and try out and see if I want to become a lawyer. He spent a year at it and learned that he did not want to be a lawyer. So he went back home, and then he found, I don't know how he found the person he found to teach him photography. I think he went back off to Portsmouth, Ohio, where I was discussing that other photo was made from. So they go back up there, and he picks up the trade, and he became famous for it. He's like one of the only ones in the area to do the photography. I mean, he used to wait. He would go around and take photos. Everybody in that area had a photo on their wall that was taken by him, which is amazing. And then what also happened was let's see, I'm trying to figure out how to get this camera in here. I guess I'm just going to cut it and kind of fussy cut it a little bit. But he was doing his work, and then he would go back home, and of course there's a creek up every one of those hollers. Well, he goes and would go on a moonless night, and he would develop his film out in the creek. I pity the people that live down below, because you can only imagine that stuff washing down there. But yeah, that's about the way they did it over there, I guess. You were lucky if you lived up at the head of the creek, Now, the mouth of the creek is right down there next to the river that it dumps out into. And that was not the best place. Although that was usually the place where the little towns and such were at. But, D, he was, like I said, he was well known. He had a booming business. He drank a lot, though. So, I couldn't say that he kept a lot of his money. He really liked to drink. And my grandma's sister was the one that married him. And she was Idabelle. And she was the one in the family that decided she did not want a bunch of Freds. And, well, they did have a Mary Elizabeth. But she didn't want to name her children after all of her siblings, because everybody else had done that, and there was a slew of them hanging around, and it was so confusing. There were so many Fred Markhams, so many Fred Salmons. It was unbelievable. So she stood apart and named what she wanted, and she was a very strong-willed lady. And, you know, she kept doing her thing with him, and I stood by him. Trying to figure out if that is also, I guess that's a leg as well, isn't it? Let's cut up through here then. My grandma even sent things over. Now, I knew of him because one of my aunt's little photos has that postcard information on the back side of it. I might end up using that one in here as well. But it has information in it about Dee is writing to my grandmother, and she's already over in Warm Springs, Virginia, because they had just moved over there. Before they left, they had a few photos taken by Dee, and he was Moses Dee, by the way, but everybody called him Dee. And it was just a different life over there. I'm trying to figure out how to trim up. I got a little bit of fussy cutting here to do. I take my glasses off for it. I know Grandma had also sent a little tiny 3x5 photo over to him when my dad was in the reserves and stuff. He had one little tiny photo that was taken, and she wanted Dee to take and make an 8x10 out of it. And he did it. And he also put it on a weird background. It was like a piece of metal, but he colorized it a little bit with like a ceramic, I guess. It was really weird. And I've never seen anybody else have a photo like that. So it must have been some kind of a process that he did. Okay, let's see what else I got going here. I got to get my layout figured out before I put anything down. And I want to put some stamping in the background too. So I want to do like, maybe like that. Or do it at an angle maybe. And I can get rid of that. That reminds me of War of the Worlds. These legs. I swear they do. I'm not really sure where else to put it. I mean, I could do something like that, where it looks like his hands are on top of it. But what always amazed me here is he took photos for a living, yet this one of his family turned out so weird. It was like overdeveloped or something. And who knows? That might have been one of those nights the moon came out. We just don't know, do we? Okay. Let me see. Now, there was this other one and I didn't know whether to use it, and I don't think I am because it's really going to throw it. It's going to throw it. But I do want to, like I said, put some stamping in the background. And with this one, I want to stamp the actual photograph. So let's go ahead and do that first. These are nice thick ones. I got this through, I guess it was like HSN. Is that who I ordered it from? It was something like that. And I'll just use this and this. And I'm going to try to give it sort of a crackly look. I'm hoping I don't screw it up. It could be I do. But I'm going to use some of the edges. I'm also going to stamp it off. Pre-stamp it. And then I'm going to stamp the image. Because that's probably going to... Yeah, that would have been too bright. So let's kind of do like this. I always thought he was a very handsome man. But yeah, you can barely see the face. His little son is down here, and you can just barely tell that there is somebody there. You can see a leg hanging. See, I'm going to need a little bit over here because she's like next to nothing. Okay. Oop. I forgot to pre-stamp it, but this is pretty dark too. But I'm just going to go with it. It needs a little bit of character, doesn't it? Okay, let me get a little bit more right here. All right. I think that's good. I needed it to be faded and grungy and all those kind of great things. We'll go around the outside edge. And see what we got now. I also want to do a little bit of stamping in the background. Now I'm wondering if I messed that up. I'm not exactly happy with not pre-stamping that thing. I'm hitting this with a little bit of a gel pen because I wish I hadn't gone up into her face and everything. But it seems to be dulling that down a bit. So it may work for me. I'm not wanting to have to reprint a bunch of stuff out. And I'm going to see if I can save it. You know how I am. I'm always trying to save it. But I don't like that on his nose. Messing up his beautiful look. But I am going to take some vintage photo oxide. And I want to try to add some brown into this photo. Because it doesn't have any. Usually you'll see, the sepia tone. And I'm trying to just kind of give it a kiss around the outside edge of this thing to bring some of the brown in here. Maybe that'll help detract from the screw up I just did. Do it like that. And then D, he was a picture taker up to his dying day. And when that happened, I think somebody had told me that where he lived, people came and cleaned out his area, his home, and threw away all boxes and boxes of glass negatives that he had there. I mean, he took pictures of everybody in that county, several counties over. So they just destroyed them all. They threw them up on the bank. And who knows how much history was thrown away. I mean, I've heard so much about That's what happens in a lot of cases when these people that do family histories and stuff, their stuff just disappears. Okay, we have to get to the part with doing some stamping on the background. So, let's see what I'm going to do here. I haven't got anything else on this side, but I'm trying to figure out which way is up. I may put a pocket here or something, so I'll put that in the, but then it's on the lower side there. Oh well. Okay, let's go to this side. And I think that the stamp that I just got, the faded type CMS, well, faded memories, faded type, but I love that alphabet part. And then back then, I don't think you said cheese. I remember when I started going over, and then I started collecting family photos, and nobody was smiling. You know, I know you've seen that. Nobody was grinning or smiling. They were holding still. And what it was is there was such a long development time on the actual photos that they would make you stand really still. I've got this one photo that has I think it's one of my grandma's brothers in it, and he was everybody standing still, and they were very sad, but then they said that was because one of the children had just passed away. But let's see, I'm trying to think what I want to go with here. Maybe I'll do gathered twigs. But yeah, they had a dog, and the dog was blurry. He moved. And that's why you weren't supposed to move, because if you was to smile and quit smiling and such, you would have that kind of a blurred image. And that was the reason you weren't supposed to do that. Now I'm going to stick this right here. Kind of like that. It needed a little bit of something. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and stamp that off. Okay, and then I may put the numbers, because he may have counted instead of, you know, doing the say cheese and hold that and all that kind of stuff. It may be that they would count, and that's when you knew how long you had to stay there, like for a count of 10. I stamped that on there, but I don't think nothing went on it. You do have to season these stamps, and I'm just not doing it. You know how I am. Okay. Yeah, something like that. And I think for the other part of this, I'm going to do a bit of that stencil I just got. I'm always trying to use the item that I buy, you know, in a haul, and use it that exact video, but I didn't get a chance to do it. But I'm kind of liking this one. And I guess this one just comes out of here like this, doesn't it? Yes, it does. Oh, and all of this background would be perfect to stamp that out of. You know, I might do that. Yes, I might. Because I'm not going to need this. Alright, I'll be back. Okay, so that turned out so much better. They always, you know, are black. And this will make it stand out a whole lot better. And also, this was that pull that I did off my jelly plate. The other time I had used a gold paint. I think it was gold or bronze. And I was trying to pull off some of this foil that I had on there. And somebody said it looked like a old tintype. So I thought I would put a little bit of this kind of behind, maybe as a little shadow or something. So that's what I'm going to do there, to give us a little bit of an extra color. There's a little bit of that copper paint there. But I'm going to take, well, that's walnut stain. I thought I had, what you call it? There it is, gathered twigs. And I'm going to use that one. Maybe I'll use this one. I forget what color this is, but we'll use it. It's all the browns are the same. Oh no, this is Rusty Hinge. Wait a minute. I've got this one, which I think it must have been like antique linen. So we use that. And this is going to have that old world look to it, I believe. And I think I'm going to put it about right there. And I'm just going to do the whole background with it. I do need to fold this so I know where the fold line will be. Kind of like right here. All right. Is that right? It's close enough. Close enough. There. Yes, I'm right in the boundary. So let's put this here along this edge. Put a little bit of gathered twigs in here just for something in the background. It's looking a little plain to me. And I'm mostly just going to work on the outside edge until I get to the bottom. Now this doesn't have to be continuous or perfect. Like I could put a little bit right there and then that's it. Could put a little right here. But it could be very variegated where it's not all one color. Let's see what we got. Well, we got a little bit. It didn't really come out that. I think that's because I used gathered twigs in the background, dummy. Oh, okay. We're going to get it a hint of scorched timber. Let's see where I was. I think right there, and then they're like right in here. Okay, we're just going to tap it a little bit, and then we're going to come back in, like I said, in a few spots with a different color to give it a little variation. Yeah. I'm not exactly sure what parts you're going to be able to see, but you don't want to see too much of it. That's the thing. It's supposed to be subtle. Now I need something over in here. And I think that did it. Okay. Have to clean that off. That's a nice stencil. I like that. Okay. So there we go. We got a little bit of stenciling. We got a little bit of stamping. That one's crooked, but you know me. Now this is going to go down. Like right here. I got to figure out which side is up. It's actually this side that's up. And our fold line is right there. That is just taking up all of that room, y'all. It's taking up every bit of it. Okay, and I don't get to see my beautiful Z, but oh well. And I need to figure out what to do. Maybe that's going to go over top of that big area that I wasn't crazy about, because you're not really missing anything there. Oh, I did want to put... Crap, I forgot to check where that would be. I want to put that little bit of stuff here. Maybe a little rip of it down here at the bottom to poke out. like that. And then maybe a little snip of it up here at the top. How about that? Like up above there. Okay. So what I believe I'm going to do is trying to figure out what part to put down first. There we go. Let me put this in here real quick. While this thing is sitting here. I would like to have it straight though. It looks like it's crooked in this kind of outline. Okay. I can't say that I was that successful with this one tonight. It just didn't quite speak to me. Alright, and then I'm going to pull this one over here like this and get it glued down. But I know my grandma, she continued to go back over to West Virginia. She would take trips. She didn't drive. Nobody, she had somebody, I guess, in the family that drove her. They were either going in that direction or she hopped a ride with somebody that just wanted to cruise. And that's just the way they did it. Now I'm going to go ahead and put this down first, I believe. I wasn't making a pocket or anything out of this one. Let's see, about right there, I think, is good. Yeah, I think that's good. And now I've got to try. This was the perfect color, but it's wimpy. So I gotta go and hold it really carefully. And then we'll just go across the top like that. Go across the bottom. And then I'll come over here and hold this side. I hope that's enough to hold it. Yeah, I know my family, my grandma especially, was not happy about moving over to Virginia, but her brother had already moved over, and my grandpa wanted to get out of the coal mines, and so he would come over and been a farmer, because they had cattle. They were actually on somebody else's farm that they were tenant farmers for, and that's kind of how they did their living until the Depression hit. Or actually, maybe the Depression was already hitting. I'm not sure, because I think I read where the Depression hit in 29, and they didn't move over until like January 1930. So I think they really had to get out of West Virginia. There wasn't no work. The coal mines were probably picky about who they hired. And, you know, they had the coal script and everything. So sometimes whoever you worked for, you had to actually put the money back into the business. Okay, I'm trying to figure out where I need to be here. Maybe like right there. I think that'll work for me. So it was not an easy life. Okay, picture taken D. The thing that's hooking it together is this part here, the film strip, and then the camera. That's what makes the camera make sense. Unless you know the family story. Okay, I hope you enjoyed seeing that. That is picture taken D and Idabelle. And this is their daughters Myrtle and May. And this was baby Roy on her lap. Though Roy, you can't see him at all. But I do like how the background turned out, though I wished it had turned out a little bolder. I still can't see a lot of the stencil. So maybe now that I've got that where it is now. Where's my... Which one had the... I'm not sure which one has the gathered twigs on it. I got a little bit more there. And then I can put a little bit along the side, though that's going to disappear. This down here didn't get nothing, so let me give a good bit. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, that's better. It just was too plain. There wasn't much there. All right, everybody. There's what we got to see tonight. Another cherished family photo. And I hope everybody takes care. I really appreciate you coming by to visit. And thank you. Bye-bye.